Wake up. It's time for Primal Scream.
Welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt.
I am Todd.
And today we have with us Tino Cruze. Tino, we're going to talk a little current events. We're going to talk some sponsors or potential sponsors.
Okay.
But then we're going to get back to you. And
All right.
if you want to get in on the current events at all, just chime on in. Chime on in. All right. So let's
make it snappy.
Yeah. Well, I should probably hit record on that too. Now it's recording. We should probably talk about It Works products. It Works by Kathy Skull, independent distributor. Have you tried that crazy wrap thing? And if you haven't, maybe you should, because they have many different things, many different products.
The vitamins are great.
Vitamins are great.
Greens are great.
Greens are great. They have a full skincare line. There's the greens right there. My favorite's the berry.
Berry greens?
Yeah, the greens flavor, the berry.
I like that one.
Flavor.
And I always say this, that I think that I'm close going on 2 years of not being ill. Like with the flu and all that stuff. And I get shit from my wife because I don't take the flu shot.
Plus, don't you do those coffee colonics?
No, I don't do that. You're an asshole. And but the greens are fantastic. I love the greens, and they're easy to do in the morning, and I do them in the middle of the day. And I guarantee you that part of the reason why I am healthier than the average Joe is because of that. I do. I really think that.
My kids like the chewable greens. And then if you have kids that don't want to do the chewable greens and they don't just do the regular...
the chewable greens are like a Starburst.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good.
But the mix, the greens mix, the berry mix, if you just put that in vanilla, my kids like it in vanilla yogurt, and then they fucking down it. They demolish it. The next thing I want to talk about is, of course, Eclipse.
Steve Shriver.
Steve Shriver.
One of our favorite people.
One of our favorite people. Tino?
Yeah.
Have you ever had Eclipse on your lips?
Yeah.
Yes. And if you feel chapped at all, go ahead and take one. And I have an assortment. One of the great things about...
I have shoe boxes at home.
Shoe boxes?
Yes.
And that's how much Eclipse has impacted his life. Boxes of Eclipse at home. You know what? Do you have a favorite flavor?
I like the pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Ooh, that's a popular one. I heard a lot of people say that one.
I have pomegranate. I also love the One World. Yeah. The One World is probably my favorite. I have favorite flavors, but there's something about One World lip balm that I just really dig.
Well,
I really dig that one a lot.
The whole ecological aspect of it.
Yeah, it's totally biodegradable, totally organic, and
watch the cap. But yes, it's completely biodegradable.
Yeah, watch the cap. Be mindful. Don't be a little
bitch.
Yeah, don't be a bitch. And if it, I'm not going to go into it, but there's all different types of lip balms out there for Ecolips. You can find them at ecolips.com, and they have accessories, and they have tinted lip balms, and they have something else that's really cool, and that's Steve Shriver. He won Entrepreneur of the Year. Just a pretty neat guy from what I've never worked for him, but I did interview him, and he seemed like a pretty amazing dude. So I think that's the other thing that makes this product a little bit more endearing to me is through knowing him. So go to ecolips.com, order some, try some, and you can customize it. It's amazing.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah?
Let's roll, buddy.
You know what I like about Sweet Jesus? We're just going to roll right into Sweet Raw Joy. Go to sweetrawjoy.com. It's desserts to live for. All right, that's not it. I don't know why I got rid of it. Sweet. Sweetrawjoy.com. There it is again. God damn it. I keep wanting to bring in samples of this. Have you ever had this?
No, but it looks pretty good.
It does. And to think none of it was baked. It's all raw. It's raw. It's totally organic. And it's living. So it's good for your tummy, man. It's good for your
Is it a probiotic? System. Is it a probiotic? I mean, it's obviously
it's all living. It hasn't. Nothing's been baked. Nothing's been heated to where it kills those micronutrients. Gotcha. So you need a little something for your sweet tooth? Go to sweetrawjoy.com and order some today.
Or you can have an ambrosia pie from Hy-Vee. Those are pretty damn good too.
What the? Are you,
Just kidding. I'm just joking.
you know what? Since Todd wants to be a dick, let's talk about dick things. And one of my favorite dick things is Cards Against Humanity. Because you can get your total dick out.
Then I feel very bad because we usually play a couple rounds of Cards Against Humanity. Have you played it yet?
No.
Okay. It's horrible. I mean, it's really a horrible game. It's sexist. It's racist. It's demeaning. It's gross. It's, oh my God, it's just over the top. Anyways,
Yeah.
Are you going to order it right now? You're going to get online and order it?
I'm going to show people just how easy it is to order because I'm going to buy the bonus packs. I'm going to get the Christmas edition right now because I'm tired of you jacking this up.
What do you mean? It's been one time.
Twice.
One time that I forgot it.
At least 3 times. We can keep going with this if you want.
No.
Okay.
I have not forgotten. I took it to California with me.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk about Cards Against Humanity? What's so great about it?
I don't know if I can say what's so great about it besides the fact that it gives people an excuse to be assholes. That's what it does.
For sure.
Because Rob from who wrote Summerland Project said one of his ones, what was his card he got? It said, toot, 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 the train has arrived. And you can put down whatever card you think fits best with it. And the one who won was Auschwitz. And I was like, oh my God, that's so horrible.
Yeah.
Who would ever do that? But you're given permission to be an asshole. That's what it is.
That's
Right?
correct.
And again, the funny part is that we obviously like being assholes because you and I and our wives spent hours playing this game, dying laughing.
It's one of those things that it allows you to let out some of those things that you've been holding in all day long and you just want to be politically incorrect. And you just want to laugh at some really hilarious, stupid shit.
And horribly inappropriate.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So check out cardsagainsthumanity.com. I'm currently ordering it right now.
Are we really going to watch you order this?
No, you're not going to. You don't have to watch it.
Okay. Well, is everybody else watching you order it is what I'm asking.
They're seeing bits and pieces, but none of
All
my
right.
personal information.
Oh, good. Everybody, make sure you watch his credit card number, and you can get your own Card Against Humanity on Matt. So, one current event thing. I'm going to do this while you are shopping.
Okay,
Online
go ahead.
shopping. There's a new TV show coming out called The Dream School on the Sundance Channel. Have you heard about it?
No.
Nah.
So it's an inner city school, but it's just like tons of different kids from all over the place. And it's kind of like, I want to attribute it to Metro High School, kind of, where it's a place that you're kind of allowed to go to and finish up your school at your own pace and be involved in things that you like. My dad taught there for, 15 years. And he did like a dream class.
Right.
You know, they do yoga. They do all this really awesome shit. I mean, of course, if you're going to do a dream class, you have to do writing and journaling and things like that. Excuse me. And so there's also obviously academics involved. But this dream school looks like they really help kids like therapeutically. At the same time, you know, you see kids doing spoken word. You see kids doing painting. You see kids graffiti artists. I mean, you name it. They take whatever niche you feel like you're in and they promote it. And they make it, it's the best way to put this. They make it societally acceptable. I mean, they make it look awesome. I mean, and my dad has always been a big proponent of, if you are good at fixing cars, and so why not build a curriculum around that? So why not read books about cars if that's going to get your reading in? You know, why not do math that has to do with the metric system and all that kind of stuff so that you can, you know, but it all applies to the thing that you're passionate about. And so this dream school kind of seems like that. But it premieres Wednesday, October 7th. So I suggest check it out. It looks pretty neat.
Guess what?
You know,
I'm already done ordering it. That's how quickly you can do it. Cards Against Humanity.
can't let it go.
Because I like
All
it.
right, but Dreams, it looks like a really neat show. And so, of course, my wife was like, oh, awesome, you're going to record another show? And I was like, yes, but this one has to do with education and looks pretty neat.
You know what I'm falling back into?
Walking Dead?
I just finished the 4th season of Walking Dead.
Told you.
Are you addicted to any TV shows?
Not.
Or you're just constantly
He's a
being
creative artist. He doesn't have time
Yeah,
for shit
yeah.
like that.
I'm
I'm
sure.
addicted to video games.
Oh.
Video games.
What's your favorite?
Grand Theft Auto,
Okay.
NBA 2K. That's about it.
I sent a letter. You'll love this. I want to see if it was Grand Theft Auto, probably one or two. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the first couple ones, and they had a Public Enemy song playing in the background. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a handwritten letter to Chuck D. when I said, I cannot believe your music, or you allowed your music to be part of this. And I actually got to meet him up in Madison, Wisconsin, and I asked him. He never saw the letter, or he can't remember seeing the letter.
Yeah, I'm sure he only gets like maybe one or two a day. You know what? You
But I did ask him. I did ask him about it, saying, and he's like, I think he said that the record company has control of that stuff, and so
Right.
they can sell how they want. And so, and I want to say it was from "It Takes a Nation of a Million to Hold Us Back" album that was still run by the record company. It was after that they got very popular, but they also had more control of their music. So he said it was outside his control. But I was really disappointed because I think of Public Enemy as being like this progressive, fight for your right kind of thing. And so seeing it in a video game where you can shoot and rape and kill people, I was like, oh, come on.
But you know what? I will give Grand Theft Auto this. Props for this. It was the first video game where you could actually pay for a hooker.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the very first one where all of a sudden you're like, the car is bouncing and...
Get
Yeah.
out of town.
And the new one
And
is way more graphic.
and you can choose
It's really
whether or not to
inappropriate.
pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually go through the act and then decide I'm not paying for it, and then it...
And then kick her out of the car?
Yeah. Or if you do pay and she gets out the car, you can shoot her and get your money back.
Can't do it.
Which
Oh my God, that's horrible.
it's so close. There's not much of a leap between that and Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Dropping a quarter in. Absolutely. Oh God, that's really bad.
I don't think that one of our last guests is going to have that at the barcade.
No.
There's going to be a barcade in town. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
It's like a bar and grill, you know.
Yeah.
It's a
But-
bar and it's an arcade like back
and
in
a
the day.
brewery,
So there's
and
a
they brew their own
brewery
beer also.
and all these old-fashioned arcade games.
But I doubt they're going to have Grand Theft Auto.
I hope they don't have Grand Theft Auto.
Maybe we could send
Talking about Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, and you're killing a hooker over in the corner. That's not okay.
No, Junior, go ahead and play the Pac-Man right next to Grand Theft Auto. I'm having a great time. Let's have another round.
If you want your money back, you gotta shoot her. Come on, that's just the way it goes. Hello.
There's no negotiation.
Exactly.
What else did you have for current events?
Oh, the other thing I wanted to do was University of California. And so there are those who aren't familiar with it. UC, or Universities of California, are all over California. And that's why you can go to school so cheap in California, is that they have really incredible junior colleges. I want to say my first semester there, I paid like $300 for my first semester. All the classes, all the books. Super cheap. But UC is now signing a solar deal so that 60% of their colleges are all 60% off the grid and making their own energy. And again, I preface it with the fact that it's like UC Santa Cruz. There's UC California, which is USC, obviously. There's UCLA. I mean, those are the big names. But there's UCLA Stanislaus. There's UCLA Sierra Valley. There's USC everything. They're all over the place. And so that the University of California as a group, all those universities are getting to the point where they're 60% run by solar. And I think that's incredible. I mean, if you get one organization who says, okay, this is the way it is, we're just going to make this happen, that's awesome. I'm sure they're making money too. So,
Well, how could you not? You're supporting local businesses. I'm sure there's a solar company, in California that's, benefiting from that.
I can imagine. Well, I would hope we are a capitalist
Maybe
country.
there's something
so
that's
I'd
not
hope
so
it-
legit happening. Maybe somebody's getting fat off this off this decision.
We can keep it optimistic. Let's make sure the glass is half full. All right.
Well, it's-
Jeez Louise, somebody's getting rich off this goddamn thing. Come on,
I'm
it doesn't have to be like that.
But somebody is, aren't they? I mean, nobody's doing this like, hey, how about I put solar panels on all your schools?
But it doesn't have to be
For free.
It doesn't have to be a 400-pound guy in a suit going, the money.
I didn't say that. You just said that. All I said was
Somebody's
with a
getting
weird.
fat off this. You just said that.
I know, but I said it with like a mean voice. But I
Okay.
didn't. Was I insinuating?
Because the picture in my head was probably due to the way you were talking about it.
Well, there's something that's also a little insidious going on right now in schools, and that was in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about this? In Denver, Colorado, there was let me just read up on it. It was on NPR News.
Well, it's been on the internet all week.
Oh, really?
Because I have a friend of mine I went to high school with, and she teaches at the University of Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
I think that's Colorado University. I can't remember. But she was pumping them up, saying, "Oh, great job, you guys, for stepping up."
Well, for 2 weeks, Colorado high school students have been protesting an official's proposal that the AP history curriculum promote patriotism and free market economics and not civil disorder.
Which is, of course, civil disorder is what the whole entire country is founded upon.
It's freedom of speech.
It's freedom of speech.
And it bothers me that that the people that are in charge of educating our little ones are like, you know what? How about we slant this so that we look really fucking great and we don't talk about any of the negative shit that we ever did in our history.
Right. Well, it's like there's a lot of people that are... I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like people who are trying to rewrite the idea of the Civil War. Because there were people that were signing up to fight on the side of the North because they were against the idea of slavery.
Yeah.
But people are rewriting the idea of like, oh, that was the last thing they were thinking of. It was more about all the economics. And I'm sure economics plays into it. But the idea that we didn't have an enormous amount of people who are part of the abolitionists in this country thinking that was a horrible thing from the very beginning is crazy. I actually am pretty proud to say that I have a member of my family. You ever heard of the
Here we go.
You ever heard of the John Brown incident?
Jesus Christ.
Are you what?
All the time.
All the time.
You're amazing.
I've talked about slavery or what? What are you talking about?
No, you bring up how great your ancestors are. Mine were
I
dicks.
said how great. I just say how great my ancestors were?
Todd's ancestors were awesome. Somebody probably along the line was like Joan of Arc or something. Mine were like ditch diggers and douchebags. All right? You know when you get like a past life regression, everybody's like, you were Joan of Arc. And that's Todd's history.
No, it's not.
Matt's history is you were a douche.
I have an uncle who married a runaway. I mean, we're talking like great uncle who married a runaway slave in the North.
Okay.
And then he gave money to John Brown. And John Brown is this crazy guy, literally a crazy guy, who was going to storm an armory, free all the slaves in the area, and then arm all of them with the guns from the armory. Sounds like a great conceptual idea, but it didn't work out. Everybody dies. Anyways, but John Brown...
Great. I thought you just nagged on me for not being positive.
No, the John Brown incident is one of those things where they were showing that there were a lot of people who were willing to lay their lives down.
Okay. In protest
of what was happening.
Okay.
And so the people who are trying to rewrite history saying that slavery was not an aspect of the Civil War, when it was a big part of it.
And so that is the type of thing that proposal would be sugarcoating, or possibly not even bring up.
I just don't understand the idea behind that. I mean, why not understand that as a country we fucked up all the time, but that we're okay. We try to do that as people. You know, I'm not a perfect human being. I try really hard to do the best I can and be a good parent or be a good person, but I fuck up all the time. So why not? It doesn't make me a bad person. People still care about me and love me. So you can still love your country and then realize that we made some fucking horrible decisions and started out on not the right foot. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, I would say nothing.
But what's their motivation, do you think, of trying to sugarcoat it?
I think, honestly, my perception of this is very close to 1984, is the book 1984. In the book 1984, I don't know if you've read this or not.
I haven't read it.
I haven't either.
But it is a story about nobody understanding the past. And everything is a police state. The government can watch you in your homes through your television. And this was written way back in the day before there was internet. Before there was any of this actual technology. And now we're kind of seeing the fruition of this where history books are being rewritten. And, hey, let's not talk about the negative stuff. Let's only talk about how great we are. And people are going to forget their past. And then when you forget your past, you cyclically redo these stupid fucking mistakes. And I mean, 1984, there was a movie 1984 and there's a book 1984. And if you haven't read it or watched the movie, I would suggest doing so.
It was a movie?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I think any movie kind of like that, people watch like a sci-fi movie and you're like, oh, yeah, that'll never happen. And then you're like, oh, shit.
Well, it was
kind of happening. I mean, when you look at today's thing with the government having that facility, where's it at, where they're gathering all our personal data? Utah.
That's all it is a bunch of servers
that basically spy on everybody.
to store it all.
And
Yeah.
and that potentially could be in the future, Tino. In the future, somebody could say, hey, you know what? I don't like what you're saying right now. And what I have is 15 years ago, I have a record of you doing this illegal act. And now we're going to prosecute you for that.
That's outrageous.
Yeah,
up.
it's crazy. I mean, if you were to get up and protest and Fox News was like, "Hey, here we have this going on. We have Occupy Wall Street going on again, and look, the leader of it is Tino Cruze." I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. That's not true. It's not real. It's just
Don't use our guests like that. Just use me that way. I can handle
Sports Matter
I can
Todd,
do it.
and Todd is we have proof that he was a doucher in California recently, or 10 years ago. I'm sure Fox News wouldn't say doucher, but they would slant it, or
Sure.
at that point the government would have evidence that at one point in your life,
Well, George
Matt can't run for president because when Matt was 39 years old, he visited you jizz 54 times in 1 week. And we have a record of that. Which, by the way, that's possibly a true statement. I don't know. I'm not denying anything. I'm a human being.
That's
and
right.
sex is part of that.
Well, the thing about George Orwell's book is that it was published in 1949. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's still prevalent.
Can you imagine writing something now that you have no idea about, and
64 years later,
something finally technology finally catches up with what you wrote about or what you rapped about, and you're like, holy shit, he saw the future. He's like Notre goddamn Damas. I mean, that's really how that is with George Orwell.
Yeah. Anyways, jeez Louise, dude.
That's Denver. So I'm glad the students. The cool thing is, students in high school were protesting, walking out of their classes and protesting, and has made this a big scene all over the nation. So that's the good thing, and they've changed it.
Yeah, and like I said, I have a friend who's a professor, and she thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
what else you got? Come on, bring it. Bring it. Come on. Good News Network?
You can still,
is it Good News Network?
Just, throw me off with your douchebag comments and all that other shit. Along with the whole revision of history was the Navajo Nation, largest Native American group in the United States, just got a settlement from the U.S. government for $554 million. And that was due to usually reparations are not very common. Because, again, it would be us saying, oh, hey, we made a mistake as a government or as a country. But I think
kids could sue me for reparations, like when they're older.
Your kids could? Why?
Yeah, because they're going to have to pay for therapy.
Oh, yeah. And your kids definitely might need some therapy, for sure.
For sure.
Anyways, so the U.S. government supposedly mismanaged assets of the Navajo Nation. So I don't know if that means that, like we treated them.
You mean when they took their land?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. If they took their land and they said, "Oh, you're too dense. You can't handle things yourself. We'll take care of it for you." I'm assuming that's what it was kind of about. I don't know the whole background of it, but it started in 1946 when we took over. We took over this asset management. We fucked it all up and probably abused it, and so we're paying them out $554 million.
Could we, as U.S. citizens, sue the government for mismanaging our social security checks?
No, dude, think about it. They have lawyers that allow them to word everything a certain way so they don't have any liability. It's not a war, it's a police action. Or we're not, oh, no, we didn't do that. We did this, this, and this. They can name it things or call it things, and it's not really what they're talking about. And that gets them out. It's like any kind of lawyer.
So back in the day, they didn't have the correct verbiage to create loopholes.
Probably not.
And so that's why they're able possibly to get away with reparations, whereas nowadays it's like snake oil salesman to the 10th degree.
Right. Yeah. I would agree totally. I think they just didn't know what they were doing. I mean, who'd we see on The Daily Show that talked about if we can get all the laws that we have in place, keep us from doing some of the legislation that we want to do, because these laws are on the books that we can't change, and nobody's going to vote to change them. And so we have to keep on following them, even though they don't work very well and they're convoluted, So we just keep doing the same thing we keep doing because we keep on doing these laws that nobody's ever going to change and go back. I mean, it's kind of fucked up.
It's a little fucked up. You know what? I don't want to be negative all the time. And if you don't want to be negative and you want some decent news or some news that sounds pretty cool, you don't want to get wrapped up into like CNN and Fox News and all the other craziness. And you go to work and you're like, hey, Tino, why are you so down? I've been reading the newspaper. I've been watching TV.
That's not that bad.
And it's nothing but negative shit. Oh, go to goodnewsnetwork.org. That's where I go. That's where Todd told me to go. And because I went there, here's a cool story. Scientists create crystal that would allow you to breathe underwater. What the fuck?
Yeah, that sounds dumb. That sounds dumb.
You're dumb. Look. All right, listen. If scientists were to be able to say, "Hey, Matt, here's something. You take this, you can breathe underwater." Holy shit! What does that open up? The ability to mass populate the oceans. How fucking cool is that? How many people die every year of
wow. So that's your first thought was we can mass populate the ocean?
No, my very first thought was how many people die of drowning every year, of children drowning, of anybody. And if I think that we put too much emphasis on kids not doing science and engineering in schools anymore. And look what scientists have created. Possibly something that would allow you to breathe under water.
Huh. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was my first thought. My second thought was we could populate the oceans, and we could be like goddamn mermen. we could find Atlantis. But anyway, go to goodnewsnetwork.org, and there's cool stories like that you can check out and see. Should we get on? Should we move on? Is there anything else that's keeping us from our guests?
From our deaths? No,
I said guests.
Guests. I thought you said from our deaths. I'm like, you're back on dying.
And this
is
why I
again?
can't be a rapper, because when I speak and I think I'm speaking clearly, you have no fucking clue what I'm saying.
A lot of rappers don't speak clearly at all.
But you do, and I love your CD because I got that. Steve Schreiber gave me a copy of your CD. I was listening to it. I love it. I think it's great. It's very diverse. Every song has its own feeling to it.
That's exactly what I try to do.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right. So are you the sole creator of every aspect? Do you manage every aspect of your songs?
Yeah, I really do. Like, I'm such a perfectionist. Like, I remember half of those songs I recorded probably 10 times. And if one little part doesn't sound right, I record the whole thing over.
So you have to. So you don't cut things up and edit things. You try to do one take for everything. Is that how it goes?
Well, usually I cut things up, but like if one part doesn't sound right, the rest doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm pretty.
And you've made. I didn't know this until today, but you also have. We'll show some album artwork. This is your album artwork for your current CD, correct? But would you mind if I played a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's cool?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a little Tino Cruze, just to wet your whistle a little bit, just to get you kind of excited.
Are you doing Coolin'? Which one are you doing?
Work to stand out, doing good for my society. Heard I was working hard, wonder why they still ain't hire me. I ain't even started and them people still admire me. Started from the bottom, we made our way to the top. And when I was at the bottom, they were still giving me props. coming from that Final Four. I feel like Jordan, a young legend in the making, but not the only one scoring. I've been going harder than starters, so that am I more important. Call me Mr. Continental, like I'm only Brad Gorin. My seat back, my feet up on my grown man, and they know it. I don't pay them haters no mind. On my mission.
All right, that's one of my favorite songs. You know what?
Would you think it's? I like it because I don't want to use this phrase, but it's the only thing I can think of is it's easy listening. Like I can, it's nice to listen to. And I think you and I were talking a little bit before. I'm a huge hip hop and rap fan, but I've been listening to Shade 45 on the internet, and I can't stomach a lot of it. Like on the weekends, they'll have like these visiting DJs, and they'll do like old school, just mixing one song into another, or take really awesome samples and mix it with a song that you didn't think should go together. And those are fun to listen to because they just kind of they're like 2 hours long, and they play it on a continuous loop so you can pick up different parts of it. And those are fun because, again, they remind me of when I listened to hip hop and rap in the 80s. But a lot of the stuff now, it's hard for me to listen to, and I don't want my kids to listen to it. You know what I mean? And then my kids love the Beastie Boys. My kids love, unfortunately, they're forced to like Public Enemy and a lot of these things. That's what I listen to.
Yeah, because you listen.
Junior still loves listening to all that stuff. So, but I mean, and some of those lyrics and songs are inappropriate too. So I don't know where I'm getting my where I'm defining a line. I was telling Tino that I think maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe that's my problem.
I can't understand these young people.
Goddamn kids, get off my lawn! Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I mean, but at the same time, you're a young guy with new music, and I enjoy that. So I mean, it's like I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, there's a lot of industry people that I really can't listen to. Like usually, most of the time, I listen to a lot of underground people who haven't really made it to the industry, or who don't talk about a lot of too bad stuff. Like there's a rapper. A lot of Chicago rappers are talking about shooting and guns and doing drugs and stuff like that. But then there's certain ones that, they talk about something different. They talk about getting out of it, stuff like that, instead of the negative stuff that comes out of Chicago.
Well, that kind of leads me into a question I want to ask you, which is, in today's music on the radio, and you can listen to a ton of other music now because of the internet and satellite radio and stuff like that, but there seems to be like this over-sexualization of music.
Right.
And then back in the 60s, there was everything was political based. Do you feel like, or do you work really hard at not falling into a certain niche of your lyrics or a message? Or do you, because this first Endeavor's 92, every song seemed very different.
Right.
And so do you... I mean, I know you said that you worked really hard at making this sound.
Right.
Every song very different. Is that one of the challenges that rappers have, is not falling into a certain niche?
I think, there's a lot of trends, and I try not to follow the trends. Like, I feel like if you say what's in your heart, it'll be easier for, like, your fans to catch on to what you're saying, and it'll be easier for people to listen to. Like, I come from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I don't really know about guns and all that. I never held a gun before. I'm not, I try not to go to jail as much as I can, and, stuff like that. So I feel like when you're from around all that, then like that's what you're gonna talk about because that's what you're from. But if you don't always have to talk about that.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people choose to talk about that because that's what's hip now. That's what the new trend is. But I don't think that's, it is a challenge kind of, because like when you go in parties and stuff like that, that's what they're playing at the moment.
Right.
That's what they're playing. But for you, it's just going to be harder. It's harder for me to catch people's ears like that.
Okay. So do you think it's similar to kind of like where he and I made a conscious choice of, for a while there, our podcast, we were doing current events, and it was all just horrible. It was one horrible thing, negative thing after another.
Right.
So we made a conscious choice, and we had to work hard.
That's the trend. Right.
We had to work hard to find something positive to listen to or talk about. Once we found it, it was okay. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it's kind of similar to that. You can have choices about what you want to rap about.
Right.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
But again, it's one of those things that you and I have thought about and talked about, which is, if I'm not following the trend, am I going to get the exposure that I want?
That's exactly what I deal with.
Well, but I can understand that. And wouldn't you rather though start at a grassroots kind of level and stick to what you think, what you know, what you love doing?
Yeah,
and that will be. And I think you can make that. You can make that the trend. I mean, that's the thing that I think is the positive aspect of it is you can become the trendsetter,
right?
You know, and it's hard for me to imagine. I'm a pretty optimistic fella, anyways. But it's hard for me to imagine
Todd
that
the tree hugger.
If you stick with what you love and you're passionate about it, and you believe wholeheartedly in it, and you keep doing it, it's going to catch on. You're going to have enough people that latch onto it and go, "We really like this." And now with the internet, you know, we get one person who likes it who's got 1 million Twitter followers, and it blows up overnight. So I mean, I think if you stay true to with what you want to do, it will catch on, and then you will be the trendsetter. That's what I think.
I think it's hard because, like, let's say someone drops a song that is about all that negativity and it instantly goes viral. You know, you kind of want to go towards that and then maybe change it up after a while. But, like, it's something hard to do because keeping your original sound is, like, it's a challenge when you go through that. Mm-hmm. So when you drop that, and then you go back to your old stuff, fans are not going to feel you like they did.
Okay.
Now, you not only... I love this. I love the 90s song off your CD.
Yeah, we did that over old school. My friend, he's from California. Mm-hmm. So the original people who made this song, they're from California. They're called Souls of Mischief. And that's where we got that beat from.
Oh, cool.
I was going to ask you, like, you said that you do every aspect of your music. I've messed around, because of this podcast, I've messed around with GarageBand and trying to bring together different sounds for, like, intros and things like that. Yeah. And I'm not good at it at all. But I've messed around with it enough to go, okay, this is this is hard. This is infuriating. I can't do it.
Right.
But listening to your music, when you step into that realm of trying to create something and you know that you suck at it, when you listen to somebody that sounds really good, I can appreciate the work that you put into it, and I can kind of visualize all the different layers that you're looking at on the computer to seamlessly make this work, right?
Yeah.
You also did videos.
Yeah.
Do you direct those videos too? Like, I have this vision on what I want it to look like, all the different scenes I want to see. Do you direct that stuff too, or do you have working with you on that?
I have this person. He's from Iowa City. His name is Josh Booth. Oh, he does my videos.
He's on the intros, right, to the videos.
Yeah, it says Booth Films. He like, I would give him my aspect. I always have a vision, and then he always just makes that happen, basically. Like, he has an eye for a lot of different things, so he catches stuff that I wouldn't really see, and then he puts it in the video, and then I will understand it.
Sorry, I thought it was me.
No, that was
I pulled
me.
the video. I pulled the video up too.
I pulled up Tino. You can check out Tino Cruze's videos on YouTube. His YouTube page is Tino Cruze, TinoCruze. Is this every single song from your CD that you have on there also?
Yeah, but I have there are some from my past albums, but I think I have 6 albums out.
Good Lord in heaven.
Yeah, but I don't put them on iTunes and stuff,
right?
Because I feel like people would appreciate it more if I give them free music, and then I would catch a lot of people's ears, so I would gain fans, and then I would put something on iTunes, you know.
What's like one of your favorite songs to do? I mean, when you did it, like, there's certain podcasts that we do, and I'm like, oh, that was awesome, dude. Yeah. I'd have that person on every day of the week and twice on Sunday,
right?
Because I had such a great time on that. Do you feel that way on certain songs, or every song is kind of magical that way with you?
There's this song. It's called Tales of the Weekend. It's like a story, basically.
Okay,
it's a big story.
Is that on here?
It's right there, the Fashionably Late, down at the bottom.
This one?
Right there.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, that's from my last album. That album has Coolin' on it.
Oh, okay.
But it's just basically a long story about something that happened over a weekend.
and this is why I liked it, is that, again, being from the 80s, I mean, I was a huge Slick Rick fan. And his songs were...
Slick Rick?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It's okay. You don't have to be in the loop. And he... and a lot of his rapping was just that, stories. So, I mean, I like that one quite a bit, too. Are you going to play his... you going to play it?
I'm going to play it. I'm just
Okay. You've never heard of Slick Rick? That's kind of amazing. My brother saw him perform in San Francisco. Yeah. There's a small club in San Francisco. It's kind of like an underground. I want to say it's an old speakeasy.
Yeah.
And so he's seen Public Enemy there, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane. Oh my God! If I had gotten to see Big Daddy Kane, I would have just freaked out. I don't want to be the screaming, the screaming fan, but I'm a huge Big Daddy Kane fan.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
Oh my God!
Or Kool Moe Dee. I mean, my brother's seen a lot of really great old school rappers there, and he said the only one he was bummed out was Slick Rick. He said that he was in prison for quite a bit too, and I wonder if it just kind of pulled the life out of him because my brother was just like, I was so excited, and there's so many good songs that he does, and he was just kind of standing there and rapping. It didn't seem like he had a lot of energy to do what he was doing, whereas Public Enemy has like 8 people part of their band, and they're on this small stage and just fucking jumping around and going crazy. And my brother said you couldn't sit down; you just had to get up and dance and stuff. He said it was fantastic. So he was kind of bummed. But Slick Rick reminds me of those storytelling ones.
Yeah,
I like that.
And if you want to hear just a little bit of a storytelling awesome rap, here you go.
Imagine this: it's 10:23 p.m. September 14th. 2012. That's a Friday night. I'm with the homies, riding, kicking it. That's where it all started. Tales of the weekend.
I met her on a Friday, riding with the girls up on that highway. Met him at the exit, they was riding, said at my way. She checking my persona, I do whatever them signs say. Follow them to the south side, pulled up in that driveway. House party be so far from where I stay. We step up in that party and they looking at us sideways. She grabbed me by the collar, said baby just do what I say. I'm looking at her really thinking thank God it's Friday, cause I'm trying to take her home. I'm trying to get it on, I'm trying to make her moan. So we grind to the break it down. Said damn mama, what's your name? She light skinned and we sober, but she handed me a cup and we let the liquor take over. Not a drinker, but she bad, so tonight I bought a bar. And she came with the girls, but she leaving in my car. They got the fight and she rode out, but she handed me a number, so I headed to the crib. I was tired as a motherfucker.
That was awesome.
I had to learn how to like ease that out and maybe ease us in a little bit more. So just cut off.
What are you gonna do?
I'm playing it by ear. That's what I'm doing.
Did you always think you wanted to be a rapper?
I had no idea until my senior year of high school.
Where did you go to school?
Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
So what happened in your senior year of high school?
I had a friend. He was a rapper, and then like one day we were leaving a football game, and I was reciting something I wrote, and then he didn't know I rap. So, well, I didn't rap, but I wrote a little bit, So then he put me in the studio, and then that's where I just got attached.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so when you graduated from high school, were you going to go to college and this kind of sidetracked you? I mean, what was your plans?
I didn't know what I wanted to do, honestly.
I bet.
But, I just went to Kirkwood for a little bit. And you
got a video on there that has a Kirkwood T-shirt on. I saw that. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the guy's like, "Hey, turn the camera off. Turn the camera off."
Well, look, were you rolling a joint? Were you pretending?
I don't think he was rolling the joint.
I don't even remember what video that was.
The Kirkwood T-shirt. Oh,
no, we'll bring it up.
No. Well, I think that's one of those inspirational kind of things, though, is that all of a sudden you go, oh shit, I've been writing and I enjoy writing, but I didn't know I'd like this. And I mean, you hear about people saying, I knew when I was 8 I was going to play the violin, or I knew I was going to do this. And so, Michelle talked about that from the Illumination Shop. She said that we are creativity, and when we tap into that, we find out who we are.
Right.
So obviously that's part of it. That's awesome.
All right, I gotta ask you a question here.
Yeah.
Tough one?
This is, well, no, I don't know if it's necessarily tough. This is your Twitter. You have a Twitter page.
Yes, I do.
Right? Tino Cruze at Tino Cruze on Twitter. Your posts, a lot of them are like, here's some rap lyrics. Here's a lyric. Here's an idea. I mean, you're not saying that, but let's see. Which one did I read this morning? I'm like, oh. Ride or die chick fighting insecurities want a ring and my last name for security.
That is a J. Cole lyric.
All right. Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
I didn't want to be stealing for somebody. But reading your tweets, I'm like, oh, that's... A lot of them are kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I listen to a lot of music. I think this is how I knew I wanted to do music eventually. Like, when I grew up, I think I've listened to music every day of my life since I was like 3. Like, I would sit in my room with headphones on, doing nothing, laying in the bed. And then when my father got out of prison, I never knew he could play like instruments and all that. So then he just started playing one day, and that's my mom always told me I was just like my father, and I guess that's where I got it from.
You got that ear for it.
Yeah.
Is that why melodically a lot of your music kind of has that background kind of sound to it? Because you kind of associate with that?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I gravitated to it for. Was because I love the melodies that are involved with it. You have great beats too, but I like the melodies.
Do you play any instruments?
I'm learning to play the keyboard, but other than that, I mean, I shot a video not too long ago with Josh Booth, and I made the beat for it. It's called it's Super Wavy. It's on my newest album.
Okay.
And I made the whole
but it's
beat
not on
by
YouTube
myself.
yet, right?
No, it's up there.
Oh, it is?
The video's not up there, but the song is up there.
Super
wavy. Yep.
It should be
Number 15.
Yeah, right there. Number 15. Go down one.
Right there?
Yeah.
14, 15. Oh, 16. Too far.
All right, listen. The one that I'm on, it doesn't say 15. Oh, no, it does say 15. My fault. All right.
He is not tech savvy, let me tell you.
And I'm the tech guy.
With social media, he's awesome everywhere else. That's awesome.
When it come to women, no chasing with a couple dreadheads. We party like we Jamaican. I put the wheel in rotation. When it come to women, no chasing with a couple dreadheads. We party like we Jamaican. I put the wheel in rotation. When it come to women, no chasing with a couple dreadheads. We party like we Jamaican. I put the wheel in rotation. When it come to women, no chasing with a couple dreadheads. We party like we Jamaican. Like I kick it with the stars. Backseats to them cars. If it's tinted, it ain't rented. Hear that bass and know it's ours. I go harder than them white boys. Cool coach, Kurt, tryna be sipping fine wine with a fine diamond skirt. Body like a porn star. Titties hanging out of shirt. And you know Shawty got that cake, so we gon' save it for dessert. I'm living la vida loca. I be on the same, and I stepped into the light. When I stepped into the game, I was that nigga back.
So that melody on the keyboard you did.
Yeah, I did everything.
Well, I like that. That's not just, I mean, a lot of your music, though, the melody is almost keeping a beat.
Right.
Right? You're repeating that melody over and over again, which is part of, almost like a rhythm part of it, right? That's another thing I like, is that I like that idea that it's the melody of the background, but it's also keeping rhythm with whatever beat you have underneath it. That's neat. And I think that's unique.
Well, there's not just like one aspect of you as an artist. It's like you're coming up with the lyrics, you're coming up with the ideas, you're writing it down. You can rap it like I couldn't, but not only that, but you are finding you have to be technologically savvy.
Right.
You have to understand software.
Yes.
You have to understand the computer.
Yeah.
You have to know where can I get these resources from.
Right.
Right? And then you got to blend it all together and go, okay, that sounds good. And where did you just pick that up because you like, I just want to start screwing with this, and I'm going to teach myself?
When I started music, like I didn't have resources. Here it's not like Los Angeles or nothing like that. So I taught myself all of this stuff from nothing basically. I watched my favorite rappers. I watched interviews. I watched stuff with them in the studio, stuff like that, and I just picked it up. Like I didn't know how to get beats or none of that.
What did you start with? Did you start with GarageBand?
I think I honestly don't remember. We had a dude who we just went to school with who was already doing it, but I forgot what software he used.
Oh, okay. So, but you found people that, hey, you do this really well.
Yeah.
Let's get together and mess around with this, and you do this really well. And I know a guy in Iowa City who does videos. And then you just put it all together.
Yeah, that's what I did. And then, like, once I started doing music, people started following me on Twitter. There would be, like, people who make beats and stuff like that, and I started buying from these people. Like, right now I have someone I work with. His name is Awesome. He produced, like, 5 tracks on my new album, and that's basically who I usually go to.
Really?
Yeah, like, I would write a song. I would hear a beat, and I would hear a song that I like the beat to, and I would write a song over it. Like, I had the beat, just the empty beat, but their voice would still be on it. And I would go to his catalog, and I would always find a beat that matches what I was writing.
Very similar to that. Yeah. We've had authors on. Aaron Bunce wrote a book right behind me, Within. And one of the, you want to grab me a drink over there? I don't care. Surprise me. That's fine. So he wrote his own book. You know, he started this creativity streak in him because he felt like
wet grape cherry. Just so you know, so good.
But he got into this creativity thing, and he's like, yeah, I have something inside me. This is what was going to make me happy.
Right.
I'm going to create this. But in so doing, you know, and he had to learn all these different things. It's hard for him to easily appreciate what we all kind of like. Like, there's books out there that I read. I'm like, oh, I love this book. Check it out. He'll read it and go, yeah, there's a lot of grammatical errors. It doesn't flow very well. I mean, is it hard for you now, from being as creative as you are and creating as many albums as you have and putting this work in every little facet? Is it hard for you to listen to music now that's popular and think, oh my God, they just went the cheapest, easiest way. It sounds like shit. How is this popular?
Yeah,
Is it hard for you to not critique the shit out of things?
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, certain stuff I just can't stand to listen to. But other stuff is like, if I like it, I replay it over and over and over. Like, I can't stop listening to it.
He makes fun of me because that's what I do. When I like something, I'll listen to it over and over. And he's
well,
like,
that
geez.
And you forget that you told me. So it's like the 5th time you're like, oh, man, you got to listen to this. And you'll put it on. I go, okay, it's really loud. I can't talk to you. I know we're just going to go to Orange Leaf right now and get something, but come on, turn this thing down.
Do you like EDM music? Do you like electric dance music at all? Is there anything part of that you like?
I mean, I don't mind it. I actually recently I had someone send me a beat that had like that kind of feel to it, but it still had like hip hop to it.
Oh,
but yeah, I liked it a lot. I couldn't, I didn't know what to write. I didn't.
Well, see, Junior, my oldest, he is really into that. And he's not quite as into that. I should ask him this, but the whole rave part of it, right. I'm not sure about that. He just loves the music. He loves dubstep. And, well, I mean, he's been influenced by me trying to, like, force him to listen to shit his whole entire life. But he goes to that. There's some huge music festival in Chicago every summer where they take Soldier Stadium and then everywhere around Soldier Stadium, and it's just nothing but these DJs of this EDM music. I mean, it's like 3 days long. And all he does is listen to music crazy. And drink beer and just has the greatest time. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess if you got all the greatest rap and hip hop artists I'd ever heard in my albums on iTunes?
No, not the album. The song Game Changer.
Okay.
The one he was playing.
Are you trying to pull that up on iTunes? I'm going to pull it up
give
right
me some
now.
love. I'm freaking buy it right now. That's what I'm going to do.
See, I should buy it because I just bought Cards Against Humanity. Game Changer, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not how you spell Game Changer.
Yeah, and I don't want the app. I want the music.
That's ridiculous. Why am I getting all this silliness?
You might have to put in Tino
Songs?
Cruze. Yeah.
We have to edit this so we can show how fast it is, Tino. Oh, there it is. I got it.
Cruiser. I put Tino Cruiser.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right there.
Sweet. I got it.
Yeah, it's on Xbox Music, Beats Music, everything.
Xbox Music? What the hell is that?
When you have Xbox, you go to the music and you can basically stream music for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
While you're playing video games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's smart shit right there. Holy cow. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, I don't know what I did.
Well, I got my copy. So
You do? Yeah. I must have fucked up.
I just typed in Tino Cruze Game Changer and it popped up. It's the only thing on there.
I must have changed my password without knowing that I changed my password.
Mm-hmm. Here we go again. That's the hard part, though, is that I shouldn't say this on air, but I don't care.
All right, maybe you shouldn't say it on air.
I don't have 1,000 passwords. I can't do it. My brain does not function that way. I got 2 solid passwords that if when I type in doesn't work, I know it's the other one, and vice versa, because I can't keep track of all that. I mean, for some of my work stuff, I have like 3 or 4 passwords for work things, and I have a sticky note in my desk that has everything written down in it because I never fucking remember things like that. I'm really bad.
So I just came back from dropping my daughter off at the tutor today.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Matt, I tried to get your computer opened up." He goes, "What password did you use?" And I told him. He goes, "Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Dude, how many passwords do you need?"
No, you also told me that these are the passwords that I usually work with. And so I typed those passwords in, and it didn't work.
What I'm glad about is that you didn't continually try, and then it just wipes the... What?
I know better than that. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, it didn't work 7 times. Let's go for 8. Oh, it still didn't work. Let's keep going.
I'll capitalize this letter. No, that didn't work.
Oh, cap locks was on. Let me try this. Do you have a certain... Jesus Christ. We have little monkeys upstairs today. Do you have a certain... What inspires you, or like what gets you in the mood to write? Or do you set aside time every day to write? What do you do?
I have no idea, really. Like, I would just hear a song. If I like the beat or I like what they're saying, I would try to write something about the same topic, but I wouldn't use the same stuff, you feel me? I would, like if I like a beat, I would instantly just come up with something off the top of my head. But if I want to write about the same topic, I would write the topic on the top of the... Like, I use my phone, so I would write it on the top of the notes. And then I would just come up with ideas. Usually they just flow easily.
Do you feel like any artist, what do you think is like the biggest challenge to you as an artist in this genre of rap? What do rappers face that you need to deal with?
Not being able to come up with another hit song. That is like the worst thing. But other than that, my favorite rapper right now is Wale. And I watched the interview the other day, and he said Jay-Z told him that you don't want to follow the trend, because when it's not a trend anymore, you don't want to say I was a part of that. You know, you don't want to be a part of that. So that's part of following your heart, saying what you feel instead of sticking to the trend.
All right.
So, yeah. Well, I'm one of my favorite rappers. He's not new, but Mos Def is one of my favorite rappers, and Talib Kweli is one of my favorite rappers too. I think because they're so unique. You know, they're super unique. Well, Mos Def is a good actor. He's funny as shit too. There's a lot of things he's good at. But are artists? I mean, obviously Jay-Z is one of those guys who started so far on the bottom,
right?
And nobody would buy his music, so he sold it himself, or he started his own company. Yeah, you know, I mean, he's really he's kind of the epitome of an entrepreneur in my mind.
Yeah, him and Nas, I don't think they're gonna go out of style.
I don't think so.
Soon.
And I always think it's. And do they make beefs? Does the media make beefs just for shit? Because there's always this idea that Nas and Jay-Z had some kind of beef going on. But whenever I ever hear any interview or anything written about them, that they're being interviewed and talking about their relationship, they both have no problem with each other. They're both kind of doing their own things.
Right. I think they did have a problem with each other back then, but Yeah, I don't really. I try not to follow that controversy stuff.
Sure. So when it gets, I mean, you get older, you
Right.
don't give a shit anymore. It's like, oh God, so you said something about me back in the day, and then we got in a fight about it, and then now it's over with. So it's like you keep you're right, you keep perpetuating those things, it just makes them worse and seems silly. But are there any mainstream artists that you still listen to, like Jay-Z, that you like, or?
I mean, I like some of Drake's stuff. I try to listen to a lot of stuff that has positive vibes.
Okay.
Basically, and that gets me thinking about stuff.
Do you like "Started from the Bottom" by Drake? Do you like that?
I mean, it's
that's probably
right.
his biggest hit.
Yeah, but I think like when people play out a song, I just can't listen to it anymore.
Really?
Like when you hear it like 10,000 times from someone else, right. Like can I play it 10,000 times instead of you guys playing it 10,000 times? I just can't stand that. Right. Then you see someone quote it on your Twitter and Facebook, and you see it all over. I hate it.
Gotcha. I like that though. That's good because you stay fresh. Right. You're not following on a trend. If you're gonna keep retweet shit somebody else tweeted, then you're just part of the whole mix. I can see that.
Is there something crazy that you thought like I really want to like? There's a song that you have that has piano in it, and I'm like, oh man, this sounds it's almost like a winter day. Like everything is crisp.
Yeah,
and it's almost. I mean, it gives me almost the feeling of cold, right. Crisp and cold, and then you start rapping, and I'm like. That's a completely different sound from the song before on your album. Is there something that you've been wanting to try and you're like, I don't know, that seems a little crazy?
I want to try a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff I want to try, but I don't have like the resources I need for it. Like there's certain ways I want to shoot a video, but I don't have a crane or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that you could try, but there's not really one thing in particular. That
I know a really handy guy.
Yeah.
Why are you
sitting right there?
Why are you staring at me?
Because we have a podcast that's produced here that needed a teleprompter.
Yeah.
And so
he made
a teleprompter. I mean,
there's so many
fucking awesome, dude. I'm just giving you huge props. So maybe I'm thinking he could probably build you a crane. That's what I'm thinking. Sandbags, a little plywood, some duct tape.
There's so many DIY things on YouTube that I'm not afraid to try.
Right.
I was actually, when you said that, I was actually thinking, all right, we had thought about doing
we were on the same thing as he said that. I don't have a crane. I don't know. I don't have some of the things I need. I was like, I bet you Matt can build that.
Because right now I'm building beds.
Right.
In my garage, I got a whole wood workshop. I'm building beds.
Yeah.
There's a lady that I work with. She wanted a couple beds. I'm like, oh, that looks a good plan. Wait a second. How did I get sucked into making you beds?
And the bed you did make took you a while. It's well built and it looks great.
Well, I started building it and I'm like, you know what? My boys could use some new beds. I'm going to make some beds for my boys. Oh, a teleprompter? I'll make that too. But actually, when you said that about, we don't have a crane, I thought of the quadcopter. Remember that quadcopter?
Oh, shit. Yes.
That I would love to figure out a way to justify to my wife.
Right. Because you take one of these GoPros and it sits underneath it.
Right.
And then you can control the GoPro as well as the helicopter. So you can, it'd be like a crane. You can zoom it back, soar away from you, soar all over the place. I mean, they're incredible. I'm thinking Christmas. If we can talk our wives into getting us a joint Christmas gift, it'll perpetuate the gay thing a lot further than we wanted it to. But
yeah, there's this huge gay thing going on because,
and we're okay with it. We're friends.
Yeah, Todd and I have been best friends for what'd you say?
20 plus years.
Yeah, you did the math. Yeah. 20 plus years. It's been a long goddamn time. But we look great for our age. But yeah, there's this stigma that's been following us around for a long time.
For a really long time.
Because we do so much stuff together. I mean, if there's somebody that you wanted to hang around with, for me anyway, it's this guy. Just because I can blame him for so much stupid shit.
Right. Well, I left for California Thursday afternoon. We had a podcast
you were going
last Thursday.
Matt withdrawals.
And his wife goes, I hope you guys will be okay for 5 days without seeing each other. And I said, I have my cell phone. It's charged. We'll be okay.
All right. So maybe for Christmas, maybe we can, or some of the potential sponsors that we've contacted recently would like to donate some money, and we could get a quadcopter ahead of time to be able to shoot some interesting perspectives. Because on some of these quadcopters, you can put a DSLR camera.
Right.
You can put GoPros. You can even get... They're not quadcopters, but I don't know the right word for it. There's 8 propellers.
Oof.
It's a huge freaking thing.
So it's a drone. It's no longer a cute little quadcopter from Brookstone. It's a drone.
Yeah, all of them are drones. They're all drones,
Okay.
but they're just not carrying missiles, Hellfires. But they're holding heavier equipment. That's why there's 8.
That's a great idea, though. For you, in lack of a crane, you could use that.
Yeah, because
you can make it float backwards. You can zoom it in,
right? Or you can take your hands off the controllers and it just hovers.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So you can get it's so many cool things nowadays with software. Like you can look at what your GoPro is watching through your iPhone or through your smartphone and be like, all right, that's exactly the angle I want. Just stay there. And so it's just buzzing there, and you're like, okay, we got to get these takes. Let's do some takes because it's only got like 25 minutes of runtime, and then it's going to slowly come to the bottom.
Slowly crashes.
Yeah, but there are some YouTube videos, I believe, of people using those for like wedding photography. Goes right in and knocks a fucking groom out. Like the bride and groom are standing there like looking at each other lovingly. And you can
Steve, do you take Julie?
Right, wham.
Oh,
Knocks in.
that's too bad.
The guy. Yeah.
That's
so
sad.
there's some really cool things you can do with them, or it could be horrible.
That's a great suggestion, though, because if you're on we're on a fucking shoestring budget here, so it's if you can find ways to help yourself out, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about the drone thing. Is every time I get a chance to go into Brookstone, that's what I look at. That I just stand there and stare at that quadcopter, and my wife goes,
It's
"Are
really
you
fucking
looking at it
cool."
again?" I'm like, "Look how neat this is."
You know what? I'm gonna pull it up.
The kids would love it.
There might be people that are like, "What the fuck are they talking about? Quadcopter?"
Well, the one at Brookstone I keep talking about, but that's $200, and it's more of just a fun thing. The ones you're talking about are more like $400 to $500 because they hold cameras.
See,
so
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah, it is.
It would be. Yeah, it would be something like this. This is actually the thing that's
so cool.
specifically made for GoPros.
Yeah. Look at that. That's so neat.
Are the GoPros? Those got really good quality.
1080p, high def. They're fantastic.
And they actually just came out with a new GoPro, a GoPro 4.
Whoa.
Which is 1080
in 4K.
Of course they have 4K now, but 1080 with 60 frames per second on 1080. Like right now,
but the human eye can't even see that, right?
You're right. But the point of that is if somebody was shooting you with this new camera,
right,
you want to have 60 frames per second or more, so that if you were to do like a slow-mo portion of that take, it would be flawless,
super crisp.
And it wouldn't stutter at all. Like if you go less than 60 frames per second, then you get kind of a stutter, shaky effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but you can put that effect in with 60 frames or higher, and now you have that ability with 1080p. So the brand new GoPro 4 Black Edition, pretty fucking sick.
Don't get any. We can't afford it. So
we can't afford it because I'm saving my money for I'm saving my money for other cameras, better cameras that I can put like across the room, so that our guests don't feel like it's right in your face, but I can like zoom in.
And we don't have to fuck around with them every single time we do a podcast. That'd be great too.
They're a little tedious, but hey, the GoPros work out. They work out.
They work
fine.
great. They do.
Yeah.
They work. And my dad actually bought 2 of our GoPros when he heard we were going to go video. He's like, I want to invest in your company.
Yeah. How can I help you out?
How can I help you out? He's like, thanks, Pops. Hook me up.
You know what I liked walking around your place of work?
Yeah.
Was that there's the main product that's being created.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's it seemed like to me, little communities of artists. Right? So there's these little ecosystems within one large ecosystem. So you guys you're producing what needs to be produced, but you're also, it seemed, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it also seemed like you were also being motivated to be yourself, to be creative.
Yeah.
You know, because
well, I mean, Steve kind of made a point of that because we walked in and goes, "Oh, this guy does this. This guy does this. Hey, you're a rapper. Can I get your album? Here, I'll pay you back. Give it to me. I'll give you these
here
guys."
You go.
So I mean, he wasn't coming in saying this is my crew. Well, he was, but he was saying individually they have their own things going on. I mean, he made a point of saying that.
Yeah. He easily could have just said, "Here's the product. Here's the process. Done." But he went through and individually said, "This is what this guy's into,
right?
And he's amazing. And this is what this person's into, and they're amazing." And it was
kind of cool.
Yeah, to me it was really neat because I haven't seen a business like that ever.
Yeah, that's my first time ever working for a place like that.
You know, and to I feel like I could walk into your place of business and get the product,
right? Or
I could walk into your place of business and go, okay, this is gonna be like a little scavenger hunt. It's gonna be like. I can walk up to this table and go, "So, what do you do in your spare time?" Holy shit, you do what? You make billboard, you make like signs, you're like a graphic artist. That's amazing.
Right. And then
I don't know what you do here for this company, but that's fucking cool.
And then I think Craig does glass work and he is with Jennifer and Chuck downstairs in their shop.
The Cherry Building, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Down in the New Bow area.
I want to be down there so
fucking
bad.
Cool.
Wish I had all the money in the world.
Really? All the money?
Because I would. Then
you need all the money in the world?
Then I could find my own little spot down there. I mean, it's just such a neat place.
You know, what'd be great is if somebody was just listening to this and like, hey, you know what? We just want you to be down there. We're going to give you a studio space. We're going to give you a space. You talk about all the businesses in the Cherry Building, and you just have people on periodically, and you sponsor and you talk about all of us. And we're going to give you a space, and you guys just kind of curl up with us like a warm blanket on a winter day. You know, it's like, oh god damn, this is so comfy. I love this place.
We have a little bit of a dream to have a green room.
Yeah,
that is a little. And you don't drink, but a little bar area so that
it's a hangout.
It's a hangout, so people can come in.
Room.
Yeah, we'll make sure we have white grape and cherry juice on tap. And we have this little idea that and what's funny is that we both have bumped into the idea or bumped into the problem of every time I meet somebody, I talk to them for a little while, and I go,
"Hey, Barry,
I wonder if they want to be on our podcast." Because
everybody is a potential guest. Everybody.
It's kind of shitty. I feel kind of bad about it at times. No. I'm just like, my first thought is like, they're fun to talk to and they're unique, and so I'm like, I wonder if they ever want to be on a podcast. But I had a good friend of mine in California that I hooked up with and talked with that I hadn't seen for, holy cow, it's got to be 15 years at least. And we were just chatting, and I was getting to know what he had been doing since I had last seen him. And I was like, holy shit, you have done a lot of stuff since I last talked to you. And my first thought was like, I've had a great time talking to you. I wonder if he wants to be on the podcast. And there's something about that I don't necessarily feel great about.
No. Listen, don't feel bad about it. What you're saying is this. I mean, we don't do this podcast to make a ton of money, and we don't do it for certain things. What we have it for is to have a cool conversation with somebody that we wouldn't normally meet. And we have it so that it's kind of an icebreaker to enrich our lives and have neat conversations with people that we run into. And, you know, if we wouldn't have ran into Steve, then we wouldn't have known about your CD, and I wouldn't have listened to it, and I wouldn't have said, "Hey kids, check this out." I know there's a parental advisory. Don't listen to all the songs because some of them are really great.
It's not Shade 45. I'll tell you that.
I try not to make it too bad.
But my kids were really excited about it, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're gonna have!" I mean, they were really excited about. We had a band in. I'm sorry, what was the name of the band? I forget.
The Evan Stock Band.
Evan Stock Band.
Right behind you.
Yeah, the Evan Stock Band. And they loved them because they were just getting crazy and playing. And we had the whole neighborhood kids.
They're all sitting over there.
Right over there.
The band was jammed in over there. And
we moved the table out of the way. We had a bass player, we had a drummer, and we had lead guitar and singer. And they were just really loud,
but
you could hear it from across the street.
It was so fucking incredible.
And all the kids' jaws were on the ground. It was I think their very first experience.
Absolutely.
My kids, for sure. I thought this music only came out of the radio.
Right.
I didn't realize people did that, and then this was the outcome.
Right.
It was really, really neat, and that's. That's why we have this podcast. And that's why I say it's not so bad for you to go, I wonder if they'd be on the podcast. Because it's...
You're right.
The podcast is
comes from
mainly just us chilling out and having a nice conversation
Right.
with people. It's not about, let me interrogate you.
Right.
Let me make shit of somebody.
Well, the nice part is,
Let
too,
me wear a
is
persona.
It allows our kids to, like, because I was playing your CD for my middle child, who wants to be just like his big brother all the time, so he likes to listen to all the same music that I listen to. And he is now playing bass in orchestra.
Yeah.
So it's stand-up bass, and it's got a bow, but he also does plucking as well. And so when he first saw an electric bass, he's like, oh, so that's the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it just turns on it, and literally your fingers are the same, but it's on its side.
Right.
And I said, and if you listen to the music that we listen to in the car, or the CDs that I have, all that bass comes from that idea of that instrument. And so to be able to relate an orchestra instrument to the hip hop and the rap that we listen to is a huge thing for me as a parent, saying this is the fun thing you can have with it. So now he's very focused on doing orchestra for school, and then getting private electric bass lessons for when because he wants to have his own band, he wants to have all these things, and I'm kind of caught off guard because I didn't mean for it to get that big so fast. So I'm kind of like pulling the reins just a tad. Dad has so much time in a day. But to me, that's one of the best things about music in general, is that you can cover all of these genres, so to speak.
Dude, I'm not saying it to make shit of you.
I know
I'm
you're
trying
not.
to help you be a better human being.
I know. Say it for me.
Genre.
What did
You always say genre. It's not genre.
It's
genre.
Genre.
Or
Okay.
don't say it.
No, I it's an important
you
word.
know what? It's baby steps.
I saw. Have you heard of Amos Lee? He's kind of a folk singer.
I don't think so.
Okay, he's a wonderful singer. I saw him in concert in Iowa City at the Engler Theater last Friday night. My plane was canceled because of the fucking Chicago debacle. And my wife and I are sitting on the couch with no kids going, well, this sucks. Our plane's canceled. What should we do? And I was like, and she said, oh my God, Amos Lee is playing in Iowa City. Do you think we can get tickets? So we went and saw him. He is a pretty unique guy. Started out, again, kind of low-key folk singer. And now, but he's branched into rap and a bunch of other things. So that we saw him in concert 8 years ago at a bar in Madison for our 5-year anniversary. And very laid back kind of music. And then the show that he put on in Iowa City had rap in it. He did a Frank Ocean. You know who Frank Ocean is? I'm sure you know that is. He did a Frank Ocean song. Did all this stuff. And I just like seeing.
Is this Amos Lee?
Yep. Yeah. He's a unique cat, man. But the Frank Ocean song he does, there's a rap part to it. And so you can see him
Sorry, man.
He's a unique dude.
Well, it came and gone. Kept rolling on.
It was funny because when we saw him in concert on Friday night, my wife made a comment saying he behaves so differently than the last time we saw him, because it was a small enough bar that we saw him at 8 years ago that we got to go up and talk to him and chat with him, and he signed a poster for us because it was our 5-year anniversary. And we asked him, said, hey, can we get a picture with you? And he was really awkward. And my wife was kind of like, wow, I'm really surprised. And I was like,
He was awkward, or
yeah, he was like, he's just like, his eyes were downcast. I don't do things like that. I could get the total vibe from him, like, whoa, he was uncomfortable.
Okay.
And not because, I mean, I'm not sure we're that scary, but I mean, maybe he's just uncomfortable.
You are scary. For everybody at home who doesn't see Todd's face, it's a bit like Frankenstein, but without the stitches.
All my scars are pretty bad. But this one, we didn't see him backstage, obviously, or meet him at all. But he seems so much more relaxed, so comfortable in his own skin. It was kind of nice to see him growing as an artist and being comfortable with what he does, and then seeing him bring a lot of other things into his music. Do you feel like did you start out at a certain place and you feel yourself are you just letting things kind of flow and see where you go? Or do you see yourself, you want to be a Jay-Z type of rapper at one point? I mean, what do you think you want to see yourself at in the end?
I honestly don't know. I just want to stay true to myself. Really, that's about it.
Okay.
You know, I want to. I would like to tour and do all that stuff, and eventually be a Jay-Z. I want to be an icon, but I mean, at the same time, that also has flaws. You know, you can't really turn that celebrity person off. You know, you can't just walk to the store and stuff like that without bodyguard and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, that's so. You know, I want to, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, and I think the key is probably if you stay true to who you are, people will see you a certain way.
Right.
And as long as you are who you are, you won't have to turn it off. I would imagine that'd be really difficult that people see this persona because maybe Kanye West is probably the best example. I mean, he's really
example of anything.
He's an example, a good example of. I think that the persona he puts out there is kind of bizarre, and I mean, I do like his music, but I'm sure he's a different person when he's by himself.
Right.
But the way he's projected, he has to act that way when he's out in the public. I think it'd be much easier to be true to yourself, and
right.
This is the way you are all the time. So if you are famous, it doesn't change anything. This is just who you are. You might have to have a bodyguard to go see a movie, but I mean, otherwise, you don't have to switch something on and off. That I think would be really difficult to have to do.
Yeah.
With us over this last year, when we first started this podcast, we just wanted, he thought, hey, how about we record these conversations because they're kind of neat. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, if we can do it more than 12 times, then I'll start investing some money into it. And then, less than a year later, I'm thinking about, hey, let's produce other people's podcasts. Let's let other people come in and use this equipment,
right,
and try to use what we've learned over this last year to help other people. You've put out 6 albums.
Yeah.
Have you at all thought about, hey, there's some other kids out there who want to be creative, or they like this sound that I'm making.
Yeah. They
like the freedom of what I feel. Have you thought about any type of tutoring or any type of mentorship?
Yeah. I like a lot of people, I guess it's hard to make the sound that I make. So like, I mean, everyone has a different sound, and I've tried to like take people to the studio with me and do stuff like that, but not everyone is as serious about their craft as I am. So like maybe they won't show up to the studio or whatever, you know. So you just have to stick with people who are serious, you know. And like when I was recording, I recorded that album a year before I released it because I lost my studio. His name was Austin. He was down at the Cherry Building.
Okay.
He had a place in the Cherry Building, and I went there a lot. And then, like, as I was recording this album, at the end of that year, at the end of that month, he told me he was moving. So I had to rush and do all this stuff. So usually I have, like, a whole lot of people in the studio with me. But for this one, I had, like, 3 people in the studio with me the whole time. Because usually, like, I like to, if I'm making this kind of record, I like to have that kind of vibe around me. And I couldn't really do that with this album because he was leaving.
You do have a lot of people around you when you're in the studio?
Yeah.
Because Joe Rogan had a podcast with Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he reminds me of you, let me put it that way, of when he's in there.
Kid Cudi does?
Yeah, that he does not go into the studio to hang out at all and kind of like be creative. He has an idea what he wants to do, and he doesn't have anybody around fucking with what he's trying to get done when he's in the studios. Takes it really serious. That sounds like what you said. And so
he said he likes having people around to get him into that mentality.
But he's still in the serious mode of recording.
Right.
And Kid Cudi was talking about it's not a party. He's like, you see videos where people are all in the studio, goofing off and having a great time while they're recording. He's like, I don't do that. When I'm in there, it's me and my producer, and that's it. Right. So, but he takes it very seriously. So that's what I was associating with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's on my album, there's a singer, EJ Suave. He, like, usually when I'm not sure about something in the studio, I would say like, does this sound better or does this sound better? And that's why I like to have a lot of people in there, you know, to get a debate on how people think and how people feel. And he was one of those people, like on Game Changer, I didn't have a chorus. I had like a little part, and then I was recording my verses, and when I stepped out of the studio, he had a whole chorus wrote.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
So what studio are you using now? Are you in between studios?
I honestly don't have one.
I know a pretty goddamn good studio. I'm just saying.
Where's it at?
I don't know. It's pretty fantastic.
Well, you know what? I don't know if this is I don't know if this is the studio that you'd be used to. I don't know. I mean, this is a great goddamn podcasting studio,
Right, exactly.
But for somebody to produce a song or music, I mean, I would love to have a sound booth,
Right.
that's separate from the artist.
Right. Or a place that no matter what time you want to record,
Boom, you come in.
can come
and
in,
that's what we're working towards.
Your
Something
wife-
like that.
your wife may have an issue of somebody goes, "Hey, I'm going to work on my album. Can I come in and just hang out, eat pizza with your kids?"
Why don't you guys check out the Cherry Building where Austin had his?
I don't know where Austin had his, but
We have a meeting. We have a meeting with the woman who owns Cherry Building.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. And so, we don't really have the ability right now to get a studio financially,
right.
but we want to keep ourselves motivated. And I talked to her about that, and she was totally cool about just showing us around. So yeah, you never know. Well, Doug Thompson has a studio,
Right.
a photography studio.
awesome comedian, hypnotist.
Right at the top of the stairs, and right next to his studio.
That's where he was.
That's where he was. Oh, so he left.
Yeah.
Because we walked in on him. Remember, we walked in and said, "Hey,
Oh, that's where he was.
Yeah.
Just recently, within the last 6 months.
I think I think it was a little before. There might be someone in there now. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
because there's a new guy in there now."
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, we've been there in the last 6 months and looked, right?
And Doug talked about them doing music recordings in that studio too, because the guy does sound for Sony or Disney or something like that. He helps out with stuff like that, so that's how he's able to get that studio space, because he has another gig outside of that gives him some pretty good income, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, I'd love to be down in the Cherry Building, because that, just like with you bringing people in when you're recording,
Right.
that the Cherry Building atmosphere of people saying, "This is what I really want to do,"
Right.
whether I make a lot of money at it or not, it doesn't matter. This is what makes me happy. That's the type of atmosphere that I want to be around.
Right.
So that, you know, somebody comes in, you're like, "Oh shit, this is really neat." You got the Wizard over here at Illumination's Healing Arts Center, or you have Chuck Kavanaugh's custom leather artwork,
Right.
or you have pottery, or you have Ecolips, or you, oh my God, you have a personal trainer. It's a melting pot of creativity.
It is.
At the Cherry Building.
It's I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think I want to be down there. I think that it produces creativity. I mean, that's just what it does, and I think that there's a growing vibe down there too, just in the whole Nubo area. You know, I felt even though I'm not a huge Chrome Horse fan,
Right.
You know, I was bummed that business, you know, caught on fire. I mean, that sucks.
They're not rebuilding.
Oh, they're not?
Chrome Horse, I heard, is not coming back.
Yeah.
That's too bad, because Third Street or Third Place Live above
Third
there,
Street Live.
Third Street Live had a really neat.
Third place. Third Street Life. I just like to laugh
Are
at
you good? Yeah, I know.
I just
wanna
like
give
to laugh at
just
you.
wanna
I'm
give
not saying
shit.
you sound
It had been
stupid.
15 minutes. I totally understand. That's okay.
Hey, brother, this is what brothers do. They tease each other.
Fantastic. I hope somebody does something in there, because Third Street Live upstairs is a stage, and there's a good venue up there to have concerts and things like that. I mean, it's a pretty neat place.
My one of the workers in there said someone bought it and they're looking to turn it into something. He said something about a music venue, some like different genres.
Oh, awesome.
One on top, one on bottom, but I
Really?
don't know. Yeah,
Well,
somebody said something about it.
That's good. I would assume that somebody would do something with it, because the Nubo Brewery took over Capone's,
Okay.
right across from Parlo City.
Yeah.
And again, that's a neat place too. It used to be a bank, and it's fucking gorgeous, all limestone, neat bank. And out where the teller, where you used to drive through to do your bank drop off, is now like their big outdoor lounge area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty cool place.
And then
I would hope that Chrome Horse. I mean, I think you're stupid if you don't take advantage of some of the opportunities to get in down there. And that whole Chrome Horse building is one whole kitty corner block of that area. And they used to bring in big crowds for their outdoor music stuff in the parking lot. There's a lot of people out there.
Hey, I'm going to bring this back to what we were talking about with the crane and the copter and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. This is crazy. This is nuts. All right, this is the wearable quadcopter.
For a person?
Mm-hmm.
How do you capture those most special moments?
Does it follow you around?
I'm Christoph, and I'm the team leader of Nixie. I've been a tinkerer all my life, and I always loved being in my workshop.
Did he say tinkerer? Okay, I thought he said Tinkerbell for a second.
Christoph came over one day, and he said, I have a new idea for a quadcopter. And he looked at me with this mischievous grin, and he said, I want to make your quadcopter wearable. And I thought, what?
Let's just build a flying wristband that can give aerial photography to you. You should be able, with a gesture, to tell the quadcopter to unfold, and then it's going to take off from your wrist. It knows where you are, it turns around, takes a picture of you, comes back, you can catch it from the air and put it back on your wrist. So we are preparing to prototype with the Intel Edison chip, and here's a little test setup where we can measure.
All right, that's kind of crazy. Wearable. I mean, when you think about cranes, when you think about old school production of,
there's a mute button. Just FYI.
All right, but if you think about the old school way of producing videos or movies or whatever, it's so obsolete from where it's going to be 5-10 years from now. People are going to have the ability to use this. You're not going to have to go to a specialist. You know, you're not going to have to go to a certain film crew,
right,
to have really exotic, neat shots. You possibly could just click a button and it comes off your wrist, and you're like, hey, all right, I know I have 10 minutes or whatever.
Well, I think that's why YouTube got so popular, and that's why Google bought them for what $1.3 billion, was because Google had a video website that no matter what they did, they could not compete with YouTube. And so they thought, well, fuck it, we'll just buy YouTube. Now, what I thought of right there was when they had that little teeny weeny little thing flying, that little white thing flying at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
I thought what would be cool is if you had some kind of like GPS tracker on you, and that thing could fly behind you. So instead of on your body like a GoPro, it just hovered and followed you.
That's
so if
what it was.
Is that what it was?
They were talking about that. Like, it knows where you're at. It knows where it left from.
It talks about leaving you and taking a picture and coming back. I was thinking, say I'm going to do some crazy fucking bike ride through the trees, and I take off. It hovers 10 feet behind me and can videotape me the entire way. So you have a first-person perspective from GoPro, and then you have that behind you. I never thought of that for shooting videos for what Tino was talking about. Instead of having a crane, why would you not have that fucking thing?
Well, yeah, because it's cool. Because
crane's probably easier to control, but
yeah, I saw some commercials for some different quadcopters that they use in industry now, and they were using it in a commercial for off-road motorcycles, like what the fuck's it called? Dirt bikes?
Okay,
I don't know. Motocross.
Motocross. All right.
It'd come to me sooner or later. But the motocross bike comes right at the camera, and then as it comes in and, swerves or
it
skids,
spins around with it?
The copter, like, zooms up, and it's a really neat perspective to give, and you don't have to have those cranes anymore to have something really neat.
If you don't have the crane, you don't have the operator. You don't have the camera that goes along with, because the cameras that go on those cranes are fucking crazy expensive. Yeah. So you can cut out a lot of money or a lot of cost that would probably for shooting a video or shooting any kind of movie if you have those copters instead.
All right, a couple things about you.
Yeah.
Are you performing anywhere?
I was recently supposed to perform at the 319 Fest this past weekend.
Yep.
But I had went to Milwaukee, so I haven't performed in a little while. But I mean, usually when people ask me to perform, I do.
But you do have live performances.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of just dropping everything, going on the road. I mean, it sounds scary. It makes me gives me goosebumps how scary that sounds. But have you thought about, like, you know what? I'm so passionate about this. I want to do this. I'm just gonna fucking do it. Like,
yeah, I thought about it, but I think that would be like, I mean, you would have to have money coming back to you, you know.
Sure.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we were talking with Jennifer, who had like
life coach.
She had like a
shared
6-figure
building.
job,
Yeah.
and she found this. She decided to become a life coach, and she went from 6 figures. Was it
6 figures to 3.
To 3.
She went from a 6-figure salary to a 3-figure salary overnight.
And we said our wives would never let that. They didn't let that happen.
No.
And we have ladies that were like, "Sorry, that's not going to happen, buddy. Sorry."
Oh my gosh.
Is that ballsy or what?
Yes,
I mean, that's
it is.
fucking crazy.
I mean,
awesome.
how she described her life was, she's like, I have multiple homes.
Right.
I have a decent husband. I have a great family. Anybody else who looked at my life would think, you have a great life. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you so not so okay with it? Why are you kind of depressed? And she went through, there's Illumination Healing Arts Center, talking to different life coaches.
That her marriage was pretty unhealthy.
Yeah.
So she got out of that.
And she basically went home one day after having so many sessions with the life coach over months and months. The life coach said, "This is what since you haven't figured it out, I'm going to tell you, this is what you should be doing."
Right.
Years ago, she told her this. And she just went home and said, "This is what I'm doing," to her husband. "I'm quitting my job and I'm going to go do this." And he said, no, you're not. The idea that anybody can be so sure that I know this is what makes me happy, and because I know this makes me as happy as I know it's going to make me, I'm willing to jeopardize everything to do it. I can't fucking wrap my head around it.
I can't either. God dang.
I mean, this sounds like your passion. Right. This sounds like you're made to do this. You have an ear for it. I love your music. I love the way it sounds. I love the variety in your album. Yeah. Especially, I love that 90s song. I think it's track 14. Track 14, I love track 14.
Coolin' is my absolute favorite.
But to know that that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm just not there yet. I personally am not there yet to say, you know what?
Because
I'm going to stop my full-time job. I'm just going to do podcasting.
Exactly. I mean, we don't think we've ever done anything that's made us happier than doing this, right? Or producing other people's podcasts. We like that as well. But that cliff is so ominous
to jump off of.
That when she I agree. Yeah, I mean, and when she talked about that with kids or a child and all those other things, I was just like going, wow. Even if I didn't have a wife and kids, I'm like, well, I got a great job. I'm not sure I'm willing to give that up and take a chance. Well, luckily I like my job too, but if you wanted to have are you going to have like CD release parties? Do you do stuff like that when a CD comes out? You like, I'm going to be at Bruhemia on this night, CD release party. You're going to perform
on my last album. I had one and it was free. I didn't pay a dime out of pocket at all.
Really?
This dude, his name is Colorless. He hit me up. He asked me, did I want to perform on this day? And I said, that's when I'm releasing my album. He said, okay, we can make it your album release. And I said, okay, And then I asked him if another person could perform. So I brought in a couple opening acts too. So
okay,
yeah, but it was pretty fun.
Where was it at?
A lot of people there. I cannot think of the.
Was it here in Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, it was in Cedar Rapids. It's on First Avenue, across from Rainy Rose. There's it's real small.
Oh, that bar there.
Is it a? Dang.
I can't remember the name of it too.
I can't.
I've driven by it half my life, and I can't remember what it is.
When you're driving home today, I'll be like, "Oh shit, that was it."
I was gonna say, make sure you let us know.
Yeah,
because we'll talk about it every podcast up until it happens. Okay. That'd be pretty cool to be part of that. And I was gonna say, I know a guy, his name's Steve Shriver. He owns this cool place called Bruhemia. Fuck. I mean, who's a guy? There's a guy who spins records there all the time.
Yeah.
Every Friday or Saturday night, I hear about him. He just brings in his crates.
Yeah.
And that's why I like him, because he's super old school, but he's a young kid. And he brings in. I mean, because I still hear about Questlove still hits record stores in New York, and you'll see him on the floor, just looking through old 60s and 70s albums and saying, "Oh, I heard it's a pretty good, track on it. I'll sample that." And buys records for $1, but because he's still trying to have that. He has that creative vein in him,
right?
So I mean, I think I would love to come to a CD release party. That would be so much fun. Fuck.
Now, it's one thing to be creative and to have the idea and write it down and then have the ability physically to speak the words as clearly as you do.
Yeah.
Which I can't do.
Do you get nervous?
But do you get nervous? Can you perform in front of people? What was that like?
Performing, I don't know what the hell happens. I go up there, I'm already nervous. So I go up there and, whether I do good or not, or whether it's a small crowd or big crowd, I'm always nervous. So when I go up there, there's not been a performance where I haven't just blacked out in the middle of a verse. Like for 3 seconds, I will black out and then I will catch up to where I'm supposed to be. But it happens all the time.
Really?
I don't know what.
So are you walking? Walking up to the stage, going, "Okay, fuck, I know I'm gonna black out. I know."
No, I'm walking up there with confidence, and then right in the middle of the song, I see something, and then my mind switches to giving that all my attention, and then I remember, I'm up here on the stage. So then,
oh shit, I have a ton of people staring at me.
I'm sorry, I don't know how you couldn't be nervous.
Oh,
yeah. They say people who aren't nervous, there's something off, because if it's not, it has to be important enough to you,
right,
that you're getting up there and this is your artwork. I mean, it's like presenting a painting in a gallery.
Yeah, and you feel like you owe those people a good show,
right?
Or do people think it's as fucking fantastic as I do? I think this looks pretty awesome, or I think this sounds awesome. Does everybody going to accept it? But I think that's when you have to get in that mode of nobody would fucking be there to listen to it if they didn't believe in what it was, or we're looking forward to doing it. So, I mean, I guess I've spoken in front of large groups of people before in past jobs, and my mindset was always like, if I fuck up, who cares? I don't fucking know anybody.
Well, that's one of those rules in theater. If you fuck up, nobody knows that you fucked up. You just keep going.
Oh, like you'll hear bands like the Foo Fighters will say like, "Oh God, that one song, man, I really messed up on that third bridge or whatever." Well, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, nobody.
But everybody on stage fucking knew it,
right?
So I mean, so you hit a moment every time you get on stage, but then after that, you're solid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like the guy who has to throw up before he goes out and perform. Once he gets past that, it's all golden.
So you don't throw up?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I'd fucking throw up everywhere.
I would throw up every single time.
If you asked me to MC for you, get up on stage. Hey, coming to the stage is Tino Cruze. I'd be like,
coming up on stage. Just wait a second, one more time.
He's a sweet guy. I really like him a lot. Here he comes.
I don't know if necessarily the way Tino wants to be introduced. Hey, he's a really sweet guy. And he drops fat beats. Or is that what you were going to say? I don't know if that's exactly how he wants to be introduced. You might want to work on that. If you want that to be your profession.
My job.
If I
want that gig.
Yeah.
But see, I say.
I just want to be a fat, bald guy drinking beer in his basement. Thank God I had that shit down. I got it down. I've practiced it. I'm good at it.
See, what's funny is I tell people at work all the time about a certain song or some music that I heard, and I say, it has the fattest beat, you'll love it. And they'll be like, what?
Are you in 1992?
Yeah. and I often try to make fun of it by saying, pH fat, not,
Hey, all right. So what do you have coming up? Do you have anything coming up soon? Are you working on another album that hasn't been released yet?
I'm writing. But when I found a couple studios. I found one in Iowa City, stuff like that. So all I have to do is really just record. Everything is road and everything, and I want to do more videos. That's the thing I want to do.
I really dig your videos.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting.
That was one of the things that it caught me off guard too, because usually the production value is really good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And usually I've seen the camcord held videos that are okay as well.
Right.
But those.
Did you hear that?
These videos by, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Josh Booth.
The Booth. Yeah. They're really well done, and they're super crisp and clean. That's why I like them. And you have lots of shots of Cedar Rapids in there as well. Right. So I like it. You keep it, hometown kind of look too.
Yeah. The new one for Super Wavy that I recently did. That one is I think that's probably the best one yet, just because it's real crisp. It's all in slow motion other than my rapping parts. We shot it on the beach. The whole concept we came up with.
Beach like Palo? Or
yeah, Palo. It was Palo.
What a good guess. There's only a fucking handful of beaches around here. So I was like, I was joking around saying Palo, fuck, yeah, Palo. Perfect.
I'm gonna give our listeners and our watchers on YouTube just a couple of examples of some of the really neat videos by Tino Cruze. Is that all right?
Yeah. Are you doing it right now?
Is it all right?
Yeah, Coolin'. Everyone loves Coolin'.
Fuck yeah.
Here's Coolin', the official video by Tino Cruze.
I'll let you know my favorite line when I hear it.
Actually, this is a fucking ad. Now I'm gonna get to the video.
I had dreams of sitting up in an Aston Martin, riding with a Gina. My super fly kicks complimenting my demeanor. I'm sitting amongst kings, I'm a legend in the making. And you can say the game is mine for the take. I'm popping bottles with models, and then I give them relations. Lead the way and they follow. You would think we was dating. Never cuffing the woman, I got my mind on my paper. And we don't chase nothing but the liquor. Got a bottle of Ciroc, flip it at Patron. Got the sticky and the swish, about to take it to the dome. And I'm going to a new time zone for the night. Hit my homie 2 times just so we can get right. Another day, another dollar. First class flights for the night. And I got my bro, so we gon' be alright. You ain't got what it takes to provide these whips. Couldn't even walk a mile in my kicks. I just wanna ride to the sunrise, kick it with the fellas. We all in our 20s, so it's nothing you can tell us. Coolin', fresh kicks and loud music, and everybody know how we do it. We party and bullshit.
So my favorite line, my Superfly,
Party and bullshit?
No.
Oh, okay.
My Superfly kicks
I was gonna say,
reflecting
'cause I
my
hear you say
demeanor.
that all
I
the
mean,
time.
that's my favorite of all the songs I listen to. My Superfly kicks reflecting my demeanor. Because see, I say that to people all the time. Oh, I love your kicks. And they're like, they have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, your shoes. Come on. I didn't say shirt. I didn't say blouse. I said, kicks is not that. It's not that obscure of a comment. So yeah, that's my favorite line. That's my favorite line.
That's your favorite
of every song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I talk about sneakers a lot. I love sneakers. Like
Really?
Jordans, Nikes, yeah.
Well, that's on. You have a little Jordan on your
Yeah.
album cover.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he
Yeah, that's,
has one shoe on that album cover.
Everything-
I wonder if he likes Jordans.
Everything on that cover reflects off something from 1992.
Right.
Because that's when I was born. So the rocket, I think the first black woman to to ride on it was a spaceship called Endeavors.
Sure.
And that's when the first black female went, And then the movie thing, the camera, it was, I think Boys in the Hood was a black movie. It won its first, or it was nominated for its first big award. That was the first movie ever to get nominated for that. And then the music is for like, what was it? The Chronic was like, that was 1992. So.
Mm-hmm. One of the best rap albums of all time. And Boys in the Hood and then Menace to Society changed my life. I mean, they just caught me so off guard because I had grown up so much with the rap scene from Los Angeles that I hadn't seen it in a movie like that before. So hearing somebody rap about it and glorify it,
right,
and then seeing the reality of it in those two movies really caught me off guard. And I grew up in Northern California. I'm not from Southern California, but and then being in Iowa at the time,
Dude,
I mean, it was just
you're
like
kind of a gypsy. You fucking grew up everywhere.
I know.
DC, Arizona, right?
That's
Vegas.
true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
gypsy.
It was a unique childhood. Because we talked about on this show is that in being in DC, I was the minority.
Right.
My girlfriend was Filipino. My best friend was from Vietnam. It was just a unique upbringing, so to speak. But those two movies, especially Menace to Society, caught me. It really caught me off guard. Boys in the Hood was a great movie too. But the soundtracks for those movies were fucking fantastic. Yeah. But see, my first Colors, the movie and the album, were my first introduction to hip hop, kind of from California, so to speak. And I can still recite Ice-T's, not Ice-T. No, it is Ice-T's Colors song.
Yeah,
I still know all the lyrics for it.
Really? You know it? Am I going to put you on the spot?
No, you are not going to put me on the spot. Nope, you're not going to.
All right, listen. If I put you on the spot, maybe you're going to black out. And then you're going to come to.
It's possible.
And then you're going to come to, and you're just going to like spit it and I'm going to be really surprised.
I'm a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. King of the jungle, just a gangster stalking. That's the first answer. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just saying that. But see, like he said, I listened to that song over and over and over again. And even my ex-wife, God bless her, when Menace to Society's the soundtrack for that movie is phenomenal, and it's not a lot of big names that are on that album, but really good.
How are you going to tie your?
She loved because she loved it. She wasn't very. She's from Iowa. She didn't know music. The first black guy she ever met in her life was when she went to college. And so listening to that album, she really, really liked it because she had never really heard that kind of music before.
Oh,
and so that's how I'm tying it to my ex-wife.
All right, well,
asshole. What are you trying to do? Don't cause problems.
Normally,
don't cause problems.
All right, we're
still friends. We gotta work
describe
things
your
out.
ex-wife as like this inky black abyss.
She's a wonderful person.
Well, that's why you still have a great relationship. I'm just kidding, Chris. You're great. You're great.
No names. You better bleep that out. You're gonna be fucking in trouble.
You know what? There's no last name. There's a lot of Chris's in this fucking world. All right. I'm going to say a couple things, and then we're going to sign off, and we're going to talk about how people can contact you and book you as a performer. I love the fact that there's a lot of thought that went into your album cover. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I dig the fact that spaceship... Hey, zip it. I'm talking. I like the fact that there's all these things that mean a lot to you.
Right.
That somebody could just look at the album cover and go, why the fuck is there a spaceship? Oh.
That's why.
This is why.
Right.
I dig that a lot. I dig it a lot. I love your music. If somebody wants to follow you on Twitter, how do people follow you or stay in close contact with you, or how would somebody book you?
To contact me, just follow me on Twitter. Usually I respond to everything.
And that's at Tino Cruze?
At Tino Cruze, TinoCruze. I'm also on Instagram, the same name.
Oh, Instagram.
We're not on Instagram.
So bad.
Yeah, Instagram's the new thing. What you got?
We're old school.
Well, see, we're not really good at staying up with those trends.
Right. And then to book me, you could just, I have an email address on my Instagram, on my Twitter, on everything. So just email me. Or you could just, whatever you want to do.
Or people can check you out at Facebook, right?
Yeah, I got a Facebook.
Do you work hard at keeping your Facebook and Twitter up to date? Do you tweet?
Yeah, I tweet
all the time. So if you want to follow
this motherfucker right here doesn't do
why am I
diddly
a motherfucker?
because you don't do anything social media wise.
You know what? Listen,
we had a podcast opened up, the bandwagon, right? Brand new thing. They're doing a great job, wonderful stuff. And I'm like, you could
also say, hey, this guy's a motherfucker because he doesn't make battleships. I don't make battleships.
You might want to get on there and like the podcast that you're producing. Just FYI.
Right. There are certain things that I am lacking in, and that is one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Anyway.
Sorry, but I didn't get too much shit.
No, it's fine. I give, and therefore I shall receive. I'm good.
Not as much as you
Yeah, I deserve way more shit than what I get. All right, listen. Check out Tino Cruze at Tino Cruze on Twitter. You can go to his Facebook. Tino Cruze. Check him out. Musician, band. Follow him. Like him. You can also check out Tino Cruze on YouTube. Go to Tino Cruze, his own YouTube page. Subscribe to that. Watch his videos. Listen to his music. Don't be a douche. It's free. It's easy. Appreciate it. Check out all the different sounds.
Well, it's funny
Tino
is that
gives you.
I had my son when he was in high school. I would buy an album or I'd buy something. And he'd be like, "Why are you buying that?" And I'm like, "Because I want to listen to it." He's like, "Just go on YouTube." And I was like, "To listen to it?" He's like, "Yeah, just play it on YouTube and listen to it." And I was like, I just didn't realize that people were doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm way behind the curve.
You know what? You go to YouTube, you listen to it, and you're like, "Oh, I really fucking like this sound. I really like what this guy's producing." Then go to iTunes and purchase it because you don't want to be a dickhead. This guy's worked really hard and he's created something awesome. And
Matt's saying that, not Tino.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, not Tino. Matt. Obviously, Matt is saying this. Tino's a really sweet fella. Hey, so go to iTunes and check out his stuff and purchase it and follow Tino and see where he's going to be next.
Please keep in touch with us. We'd love to promote the shit out of whatever you have going on, man.
Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah,
We
no
like
matter
it.
what, we'll mention it. You just send us a message. I'm going to wrap things up. Is that all right? Can I talk about some of our
Go
sponsors?
right ahead.
Check out Kathy Scullett at myitworks.com. That's Kathy Scullett myitworks.com for anything in regards to the It Works products. You want to be an independent distributor, you want to be a loyal customer, check it out. KathyScullett.myitworks.com. Also, we at the Primal Scream podcast, we love Eco Lips. I got a whole bowl of it in front of me, which it looks pretty goddamn empty right now. Tino can attest that it looks pretty goddamn empty. Why? Because our guests love ecolips.com. They take them with them when they go.
If they wouldn't take handfuls, we'd
If it wasn't so goddamn good, they wouldn't be taking handfuls of it. But yeah, check out ecolips.com and you can custom make any of your own lip balms. You can put your own labels on them and you can make your own flavors. And there's like, I don't know, over 2 million different varieties.
Yeah.
Is what I've been told. So check it out, ecolips.com. Also check out Sweet Raw Joy. You can go to their catalog or you can check out, oh, goddamn, that looks good. Blueberry cobbler, chocolate hazelnut. Goddamn, I'm just getting hungry. This right after some barbecue. I don't know why. I just really feel like wings right now. But yeah, check out.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I think I would be down for that.
Yeah, yes. That's 3 yeses. SweetRawJoy.com. Check it out. It's desserts to live for. And then, of course, go to Cards Against Humanity. Cards Against Humanity makes you feel like a better person. Why? Because after you get done playing Cards Against Humanity, you've purged yourself of all the evil. and you've laughed about all this crazy, terrible shit, and it's out of your system. Then you can go to work the next day, and you can interact with other human beings, and you don't have to feel like you're dying to say something that you shouldn't say. Play cardsagainsthumanity.com or play the card game and get all its little expansion packs. And I did actually order every single expansion pack there is. And I ordered...
Not that you're an impulse buyer by any stretch of the imagination.
I believe in the product and it makes me happy. And if something makes you happy and you get enjoyment from it, spend the fucking money and do it legit. I also got the holiday pack. So I can't wait to play the holiday pack because I'm sure there's going to be some fucked up stuff about Santa Claus and elves, reindeers.
Anal situations.
There's just going to be things that are going to make me giggle. They're going to make my little child inside giggle. And that's really it for the products. But if you are somebody who's sick and tired of negative shit and you want to go to some place and you want to hear some positive things, go to goodnewsnetwork.org and you'll find some really cool stories and stay positive throughout your day. But that's it. Oh, Todd.
That's not it.
It's not it. Probably one of the most important things to say or to show. Todd, how would people follow us and what should people look for?
The best way to follow us is to go to tpspproductions.com. That way you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook page. Also, TPSP Productions has their own Facebook page as well to like that and follow what we're doing. Also, you can subscribe to iTunes and Stitcher while you're on that page as well. And check out everything we have. We are still getting quite a few downloads from Denise Stapley.
Yeah, we're doing really good.
Yeah, we're doing fine. She always brings in a good crew of people. So
yeah, and I'm sure Tino Cruze's podcast is going to bring in. Well, I don't know why you got to keep going back to Denise Stapley.
I'm sorry, Denise. You're a horrible guest. Please stop downloading her podcast and only download Tino Cruze's.
All right, listen.
Is everybody? Are you happy?
No, I'm not happy. I mean, if you want to talk about sex and what a sex therapist can do for you, or you want to talk about Survivor, which we didn't even talk about Survivor.
And I have been.
Have you been watching
religiously
Survivor?
watching
Tino's
Survivor.
like, oh fuck, I'm going to tune out. Click. You guys want to talk about Survivor? I don't watch crazy television. Two, I'm an artist, and I don't fuck around with Survivor. Okay, that's fine. But we've been watching Survivor.
Well, I usually don't watch it, but Denise Stapley was on it. She's a friend of ours.
Yep.
She won it a few years past. This year, she was on the podcast. She said, "I want you to commit to watching it and tell me what you think." Because I only watched it because she was on it.
Yes.
And so I have been watching this year, and it's been interesting. I don't get it still. I'm not sure why people are so sucked into this thing. I need you to walk me through some issues.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's been fine.
All right, listen, we got to wrap this up. My bladder is about to burst.
And poor Tino's been in the basement for a while.
Yeah, and Tino's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Thanks, guys, for having me on, but seriously. 2 hours, that's about my limit.
And we didn't even have you rap. We'll try another time.
Yeah, you know what, though? You know what I will do? I will...
We'll link your YouTube page for sure, so people can hop on that and can check it out.
Yeah, I'm sure people could do that, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lead us out with one of Tino's raps, with one of his songs, which I really like. Oh, wait, I got to find it. It's 92. I kept talking about it the whole time. I'm like, I really love 92.
Tino, we really enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. We're excited to have an artist like you in Cedar Rapids for sure. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is probably my first time doing something like this.
We'll have to have you back.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
You can drop some fat beats on us.
Yeah,
get to use my lingo. So you're gonna. We should probably say our goodbyes, and then you can
All
move
right,
up.
fine. I'm Matt.
I'm Todd.
We'll see you later.
Adios.
Good night.
Can I kick it? One time for them haters. Never sweat the small, so we gotta do it major. Light skinned nigga with a whole lot of flavor. Old school kick game, sharper than a razor. Mag it, bang it, never ask questions. Bruise that dude since I was an adolescent. Heartbreak king, make them think I was in love. Handsome to the women, pretty boy to the thugs. But don't be a victim, underestimating. Still getting down like a nigga selling drugs.
Spit sick like a nympho at any tempo. And that was only the intro for your info.
I'ma start it up.
That's awesome.
At the top like we on a charter bus. Youngest we grew up in the 90s. In the cut trying to get in there where you can find me. With a slut, got a jiggle butt and she a dime piece. Don't worry, I got plenty more behind me. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. And a blind man can see how fresh I am. I got style, swag. My flight is so amazing. 365, not only for an occasion. You doubted everything I could do. You just got hip to niggas from 90. So from the jungles where they rumble for the cash flow. Yeah, life's a bitch, but I never let it.